Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video, and to a slightly different video than usual in that it is still a state of my account, but we're going to be doing a slightly different format in that I'm going to briefly talk over my account as usual, and at the end I'm going to be talking out some upgrades that I want to be doing going into 2024. But first things first, as you can see probably from my getup, I did want to say a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to you all. Obviously, thank you all for your support. Of those of you who subscribe, obviously if you haven't already, make sure to hit that sub button down below. But I do really appreciate all the engagement with my videos. Obviously it does mean a lot, and hopefully we can continue making more content going into the new year. Without further ado, if you do enjoy this video, obviously a like and comment is always much appreciated, and let's jump straight into it. Okay, so first things first is that we're going to do a very brief overview of my actual account. So in terms of GP size, I have 11.6 million GP. I believe from my last video I was about 11.3 million GP, so that's about a 300k increase. That's mainly just due to the fact that we obviously had bonus drops for the anniversary, and we do have some coming out for Christmas, obviously check, but 300k is mainly just due to me upgrading a lot of characters from gear 12 to gear 13. I don't actually have a lot of characters that I need to take to Relic at the moment, mostly just new characters that I will obviously take to Relic once I get into 7-star. But let's go over and have a look at what I'm currently farming and my current plans. So as you can see from my favorite list, I do have a range of characters on there. Obviously Dark Trooper is still on there, kind of like a meme at this point. I'm still planning on taking him up to obviously Relic 7 minimum, but obviously just keeps getting pushed back by lots of other priorities. As you can see, Malgus is on there because I'm very tempted to take him to R9, but kind of just holding out a little bit, just waiting and seeing what happens. Obviously Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, one that I would like to take to gear 13 as well, but I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens. Obviously it's very good at the moment with the Imperial Trooper-crons, but I just want to see how impactful he actually is, obviously for Grand Arena mainly, when that falls off. But I'm very well might take him to gear 13, but I'm very low on Zetas, so kind of holding off for a little. Not that he needs Zetas really to go with Mandalorians anyway. I do have Magma Trooper on here. He's another character I would like to upgrade. He's the last Imperial Trooper that I need to take from gear 12 to gear 13. Obviously with a lot of Imperial Troopers split up now, I feel like adding Magma to my roster would be very helpful. And then we do have the 3 Journey Guy characters for Bo. Obviously we do have Bo in the game now. He looks very good, or at least from initial testing looks very good, and it looks like she's going to absolutely dominate in Grand Arenas. And then obviously we have Darth Bane there as well, which is going to be the next cycle of Conquest characters that we get to the game. So I'm going to be getting him to 7-star because I always get red crate in Conquest. At least always try to. There hasn't been a Conquest where I haven't got red crates, so I'd be very surprised if I don't get one going forward. And that is basically what my farming plan is at the moment. I don't actually have much on, as you can see, but just kind of just holding out to waiting to see, basically. Obviously I would like to take Darth Bane to Relic 7 once I unlock him. That would be kind of be a staple really, and then we can take him to R8 or whatever afterwards if need be. But obviously, like I was saying at the beginning, I don't actually have a lot of gear 12 characters left. This is the only gear 12 characters I actually have in my roster now, and most of them are all garbage. There are probably a couple that I could potentially do for like fleets and stuff. So Zeb, for example, or Jedi Consular. Those obviously are fleet pilots. I could potentially do them and just finish off my crew members being all gear 13. But as you can see, I do have a lot of stuff at Relics now. I do have a Mega Stellar gear 12. She's not taken her to Relics yet. I kind of wish I could take the Zetas off her so I could use them on someone else, but I will eventually take her to Relics, just not yet because not a priority for me at the moment. I'd rather save the gear for the marquees we need for Bo. And yeah, that is basically it. So we'll very quickly go over my fleet, which as you can see, I am only farming Marauders. The only ship I don't have 7-star. Unfortunately, I wasn't unlocking a GL when the Galactic Chase event came around, so I wasn't able to get the bonus drops that I know CG said there wasn't a problem with, but there definitely was a thing with if you were farming a GL at the time, or tickets for GLs, you would get more drops of Marauder shards, which I don't know what happened there, but it's definitely happening, and CG need to find out what's going wrong. But I should have that 7-star, and obviously all that would mean all my ships are 7-star again. And then very quickly to go over my Datacrons, because Journey Guide is for Bo. So nothing's really changed for the orange set. Obviously it was a Rebel set and the Ufu set. and that's kind of stayed the same since the last video because obviously that set has kind of gone off farm. But this new set, I have done quite a few. Got the ones I needed, being Boosh, one for Afra, and then one for Tuscan Warrior, and one for Jawa Scav. Yeah, I've just been building up a lot of Scoundrel Crons, sorry, to use with like JMK and stuff for anti-revives and obviously cooldown resets and stuff like that, because obviously they're very good crons and probably the best out of this set in terms of actually farming up more of them. I did build one for Hut Cartel for Cad Bane to kind of use in a leftover bounty hunter squad. I feel like that could be quite fun. Probably add that to the wheel in my grand arenas, but probably not going to farm too much more on this set. Also, I'll just do like regular farming like I normally do for Datacrons in its current standing. So probably increase my level 9s by probably about double this, maybe, I reckon, in this next conquest. But we should obviously see how difficult it is because we're going into the next cycle. But that's a very brief introduction, well, not introduction, but a brief update on my Datacrons. And now we will move over onto what I wanted to talk about, obviously going into 2024 and what upgrades I want to be doing to my account. Okay, so in my rush to try and get through everything, I did actually forget to talk about the actual upgrades I've done in the last month or so. So we'll go through those right now. And to talk about Leia first, obviously she is the 8th Galactic Legend that I added to my roster. She was the only one that was missing in the last video. And I obviously have got her unlocked to Relic 9 and with her ultimate as well. She's completely broken at the moment with her Datacron, but I kind of feel like she'll fall down a few pegs after that Datacron expires because it is very good at the moment. But yeah, we do have Leia, and I do have all the Galactic Legends now, which is nice. And then in terms of R8 upgrades, I've done quite a few, not as many as I did last time, but also we did take Drogon to Relic 8 for the raid. Jedi Knight Cal was someone that I was about to unlock with the last video, and obviously did, and took him straight to Relic 8 because I really love the Jedi Survivor game. And I just feel like his kit is really fun to use. He can do some crazy damage in the right scenarios. Then Iden Versio was a recent Relic 8 I did. These last three are very recent, within the last couple of weeks. Iden I did for the raid mainly, but obviously she does have a ship as well, which is very good in countering Leviathan. So that is a massive boost for that. So she actually is a very worthwhile investment for a Relic 8 if any of you are looking. One for the raid, one for Grand Arena, and one for her ship. So there's 3 reasons to Relegate her, and she is an attacker, so she gains a lot from that Relic 8. BT1 was one that I just did for fun. He was Relic 5 before I took him straight up to Relic 8. One of those characters that I just know he can hit very hard when he's modded properly and obviously had the right relics. And I feel like my Relic 5 was lacking, so I just took him straight up to Relic 8, and I feel like we're going to have a lot of fun with my Afra over the next month or so, or however long we've got left on that Datacron. And then the last one, obviously, which you saw on my farming list, was Darth Malgus. He is the most recent one I did, from Relic 7 to Relic 8. And I'm hoping that we can get enough materials to Relic 9 him at some point and give him his last Omicron, so then he's just done. I don't need to worry about him. But that's obviously going to be very dependent on lots of other things that are going to be coming up in the game. Okay, so now to go over some upgrades that I've done. So for Omicrons, I gave Saw and Merrin both their Omicrons. I actually took Saw Gerrera up from Gear 12 to Gear 13 and Relic 5 to use his Datacron with him. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like Saw Gerrera is a sleeper team in Grand Arena. A lot of people underestimate him and his Omicron. Just because it's the least applied in the game doesn't mean it's not very good. And if you do have the right team set up, you can do really well. My Saw's actually done quite well for me this 3v3 season. And I'm predicting he should do pretty well in 5v5 as well, at least on maybe not so much on offense. But then I did obviously upgrade Merrin to give her her Omicron. Unfortunately, I'm not using Night Sisters as much as I would like to. They're kind of wasting a Sarge and Merrin's Omicron at the moment, but would like to use them obviously more when a 5v5 season comes around, because that's when you get the best use out of them, when you can use a full Night Sister squad in the 5s, obviously. And then the last 2 in this row are Gar Saxon Imperial Super Commando. You may have seen them pop up in my 3v3 videos. Been having a lot of fun with Maul and these 2. They're just really amusing since Imperial Super Commando's slight kit rework. And they can do some pretty stupid stuff, even beating the new Moff Gideon. I imagine probably in 5s as well, with a proper Maul Mandalorians team. And then to move on to the next row, obviously full light side, I did upgrade Baze and Shroot to go with my new Saw Gerrera. Planning on using a team of Saw Gerrera, Baze, Shroot, Biggs, and Wedge. That is kind of the plan I wanted to do. I don't really want to take any characters away from my Mothma if I don't have to. So that at least I can have a Mon Mothma team and then a Saw Gerrera Rebel Fighters team as well. Then because of the Datacron, I actually took Datcher to from gear 12 to gear 13 into Relic 3. He was the last Jawa I needed to Relic. Funny enough, obviously they give Jawa their Datacron after the Crate Dragon raid is finished, and then obviously I upgraded Jawa to actually use the Datacron going into Grand Arena. And then the last one being on this row is Plo Koon. He was a character that I was going to need to upgrade for Starkiller. That's where his primary use is going to be. Obviously, he does have a ship as well, so I did it for that reason as well. But he's very good with Starkiller with that time meter boost and Dispel on a basic. And obviously, Old Ben is probably going to be going over to Leia now. So that's kind of the main reason why I did it, especially in 5s. Maybe not so much in 3s, because obviously you don't really use a tank with Starkiller in 3s. And then the last two things I want to talk about in terms of upgrades were 2 teams. So I ended up upgrading my Ewoks to run a full Relic Ewok squad. Gave Nisa her Zeta, gave Patplu his Zeta, and took him up to Relics. Obviously, Relic 3 on Patplu, Relic 3 on Low Grey. The others are all Relic 3 apart from Nisa for Relic 7. Obviously, needed to unlock the new Leia. And then Tuskens, I just did a Relic boost on them. Most of these were sitting at Relic 1. I believe Chieftain, Warrior, and Shaman were all Relic 1 prior to their Datacron. Obviously, when their Datacron came back around, I felt like I just needed to upgrade them so I can actually get a use out of that. Obviously took Warrior to Relic 5 and Chieftain and Shaman up to Relic 3. That's kind of just like my staple and standard Relic that I take most characters up to when I upgrade them from gear 12 to gear 13. Just take them to a default Relic 3 and then I just upgrade them from there. But as a lot of you guys know, for my roster size, I do have a very low Relic roster because I just have a lot of stuff. I'm more of a collector than I am a competitive player. So it probably means that I've actually not utilized my Relic materials to the best that I probably could have done. And obviously it means that my Relics are all spread out rather than being very narrow at the top like a lot of competitive accounts are at my size at least. So saying that, this is why I'm going to be talking about these things that I want to be doing going into 2024. I do have a upgrade list of characters that I would like to take to R7, Relic 8 and Relic 9. And we're going to go over that now. Okay, so to start off on my list, I do have both the Galactic Legends that I still have at Relic 7. Obviously, that's both Sith Eternal, Emperor, and Jedi Master Kenobi. More likely to take Sith Eternal to Relic 8. I probably don't know if I'm going to take JMK to Relic 8 because I just don't feel like it's worth it. It doesn't make that much of a difference for all the counters because he's just so good. He can normally do what he needs to do without having to take him up too far. So I may keep him at Relic 7. I do feel quite happy with how JMK is performing. Obviously, Sith Eternal Emperor, we shall wait and see as well, obviously depending on how Darth Bane does. So that's why these two are here. Obviously, I do need to unlock them at some point going into 2024. It's going to be really important. Probably take both of them straight to Relic 7 at least. Depending on how Bo looks in Grand Arena, I may take her straight to Relic 8. But that'll obviously depend on everything else, basically, that's on my list. So we're going to do it in order of some characters I want to take to Relic 7, Relic 8, and then Relic 9. So to start off, for my Relic 7 list, I would like to take Sejunda. She's going to be a great character to use in TB for the Zepho mission, obviously to unlock the new planet for my guild. That's the main reason why I want her to take her to Relic 7, because I just feel like that is going to be needed for me to do at some point. And then the others are kind of just ones that I just took to Relic 5 and just felt like I probably should have taken them straight to Relic 7 rather than just leaving them at Relic 5. Obviously, Dark Troopers on this list. We do have Kama as well. He's obviously very good at high Relic, can hit very hard in a Qui-Gon Jinn team in Grand Arena. Obviously, Dark Trooper can punch very hard as well. And then Savage is obviously just increase his survivability in Grand Arena and make the most out of it in like 3s and stuff. Might be able to do some solos at a higher Relic. There could be a possibility there. I feel like at Relic 5 is not getting the full potential that he has there. And then Cat is another one that I should take to Relic 7 pretty soon, I think, because she's been dying a lot to me or just getting focused down by the enemy. I don't know whether they changed the AI or anything, but that is one upgrade I want to do. I don't think she's worth taking to Relic 8, but I feel like Relic 7 is a good number to get her to. And so that is my Relic 7 list. Now, quite a few Relic 8s that I want to do. I kind of just looked through the roster and just kind of picked some ones that I felt would give me the most benefit to actually upgrading. So the first row being General Grievous, obviously for his fleet, or his ship, I should say. He does have a capital ship, so that's a very good bonus, and He can hit pretty hard at Relic 8. He does get a nice bit of health boost, which obviously increases his damage output, but unfortunately GG isn't getting used as much, I should say, as he used to. So probably not one I'm going to prioritize over the others. Talking of which, I have Taran Malicos on here. He is one of the ones that I would like to take to Relic 8 and give him his third Omicron as well. A bit like Malgus, sorry, where I want to take him to Relic 9 and give him his third Omicron just to finish him off. I do want to do the same with Taran Malicos, take him to Relic 8 and give him his third to finish that off. Wampa as well, another character that's kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. A lot of players that I'm playing against in Card 1 do tend to set teams that you can't actually Wampa. So I don't know whether Relic 8 is actually going to be worth it on him. I know he can beat some certain teams, obviously, with a good Datacron setup and obviously being very healthy and stuff. And obviously Relic 8 is going to help with that. But again, like Grievous, not the high priority for me. Ben Solo, like the list above with these 4, should have taken him to higher Relic initially when I first unlocked him. Probably should have taken him straight to Relic 7, but obviously he was slightly underwhelming when we first got him. Wasn't that impressed, so I only took him to Relic 5. But if I took him to Relic 8, give him his third Omicron, finish him off like Taran, that should be good to go. And last one on the row is Grand Inquisitor. That's mainly for the side ship for the Chimera counter versus Leviathan. Obviously, he can hit very hard under a Reaver lead as well, which you're going to see later. Obviously, we do have Reaver on this list. But yeah, another upgrade I feel like it's worth doing. Probably one of the ones that I'm going to do first out of all the Relegates that I want to do. Talking of which, we're going to go on to my second row. And first off, I'm going to talk about Jedi Knight Anakin. Same reason as Grand Inquisitor. This is mainly for a fleet upgrade to boost his ship for Negotiator. And also, he is very good in a Qui-Gon Jinn team if you can somehow not play it right and end up triggering Anakin. Once Qui-Gon Jinn dies, he could just nuke your whole team. And at Relic 8, obviously being an attacker, that's a massive boost for him and for his ship as well. So a very good upgrade. Same with Grand Inquisitor, probably one of those ones that are a bit higher up there in terms of actually doing a Relic 8 first. But we shall see. Next, Scout Trooper. This guy, or this girl, I should say, not really too sure. Obviously, I'm not giving the Omicron for the new raid because it's just auto-ball, and my guild are getting the crate that we're probably going to get for the rest of its cycle. Just all of us just autoing runs because it's just so boring and bad, the new raid, unfortunately. But just to make my life a bit easier, I kind of thought maybe, depending on what the new Moff Gideon's like, whether Scout Trooper is going to be worth taking to Relic 8. But I'm very doubtful that's ever going to happen. Probably going to stick with her at Relic 7. Okay, so the next 3 on this list, obviously next up we have Dash Rendar. He is one that I've wanted to do for quite a while, mainly for the Outrider ship in his fleets, and obviously for Grand Arena purposes as well. He can be very hard hitting at Relic 8, and you can get a lot of damage out of him. So kind of one of those things. Even though he's a support, he can do a ridiculous amount of damage on his AoE and his basic and stuff. I feel like he could be quite a fun at Relic 8 to do, but not on my priority list as such. But these next 2 kind of more are on my priority list. Fennec Shand obviously being a very good counter to LV, but the same with like Wampa. She's kind of fallen off a bit in terms of that I don't use her as much as I probably could do. I know there are probably comps that I'm missing with like Lord Vader and stuff that I could just use Fennec Bounty Hunters with, but I just don't because I normally just tend to take a safer route and use like a Galactic Legend or something like that. Or for the last 5v5 season, we've obviously had Phoenix, which beats a lot of LV teams, but that's not going to work anymore. So maybe we might go back to Fennec and I might be getting that Relegate upgrade soon. So we shall see with that. Then we have Sith Trooper next on my list. He obviously has his TIE Dagger now, a ship for the Leviathan fleet, a very good upgrade to do for that. And obviously he's just very good with just a Sith team in general, or with First Order, obviously under SLK, or even like a Hux First Order TIE Pilot and Red Team in 3s, which you guys know I obviously like to use a lot in Grand Arena. So one of those ones that I would like to do at some point. I feel like it's going to be a very good upgrade to do. And then we do have some luxury R8s that I have been planning on doing. Not as high priority on the list as the others above, but I do feel like these ones would be a very good Relicate investment. Obviously Commander Luke would be a very nice Relicate, but I already have a lot on that team that's Relicate already, and I just feel like I should spread my Relicates around my roster to get some more boost into some other teams. Obviously I already have a Relic 8 Chewbacca and Han Solo, so I just feel like a Relic 8 Commander Luke is just a bit overkill, and I see he does his job well at Relic 7, probably not really needed at the moment. Same with Django. He's kind of become a meme of my channel. If any of you guys have come from my shorts that I uploaded, which is, I believe it's on like 50,000 views or something ridiculous. It just keeps getting views. It's just me getting nuked by Django with Darth Revan Ambassador. He was probably the starter of my channel on why it's been reasonably successful, obviously, because of him and his meminess of my channel at the beginning. Then Bam, like some others on this list, was mainly for Razor Crest for his ship as well. Obviously, looking at this Bo Katana event, might need to do it for that, and obviously for Bo's team in general, could be quite fun and Renegade to do, but we shall see with that one down the road. Nest, a bit like Wumper, one of those characters that I would like to get some more use out of. Even on defense, she can do really well, but I just feel like at Relic 5, she's just not cutting anymore due to like Datacrons and things. I feel like a Relic 8 investment into her would be a very good investment, but obviously it would be only for Grand Arena purposes. There isn't like a dual or triple reason why I would give her a Relic 8 over some of the others, so that's why she's considered a luxury R8 for me next year. And then Candaris Ordo, because of the Imperial Super Commando and Gar Saxon upgrades I've been doing, I obviously would like to try and run a more Mandalorian team more often, and Candaris would be a very important part of that. And then he can do a ridiculous amount of damage, even at Relic 7, which I have Matt because I did get his Datacron, but he would obviously hit like an absolute truck at Relic 8 and would be a lot of fun in that team. But again, still does his job of Relic 7, not really needed to go up to Relic 8. So next up, we obviously have the Relic 9s. There aren't as many of these because Relic 9s are just so expensive to just actually get. Obviously, they take a lot of resources and investment to actually get to this stage. So I only have a few on my list. You guys may have seen this beforehand in one of my previous State of My Account videos where I did go over like a wish list. Nothing's really changed that much, and you'll probably guess that most of these are all tanks. So first up, actually we'll just talk about both lists. But my actual R9 list would be Third Sister, Mace, Darth Malgus, Chrysanthemum, and Royal Guard. Most of these characters are very good, obviously, for Grand Arena purposes, and just for their Galactic Legend, if that makes any sense. Obviously, Chrysanthemum is Jabba's Galactic Legend tank, Royal Guard is LV's Galactic Legend tank, and then Mace can go with JMK. Mace is just kind of one of those ones I feel like is quite a fun character to use, and I feel like a Relic 9 that could get a lot of use with that, obviously with Jedi Knight Cal, or just in like a JML team, or obviously with JMK or Qui-Gon Jinn or something like that. I feel like there's a lot of utility with Mace to go in a lot of different Jedi or Galactic Republic teams. That could be quite fun, a very flexible Relic 9 tank. Third Sister, obviously one of those ones that I've obviously put minimal investment into her, obviously because I'm just lacking on Omicrons. I only have one Omicron on her, which is her leadership. I only have her at Relic 7, would like to take her to Relic 9 and finish her off like I would like to do for Malgus. Obviously Malgus is on there for Relic 9, like I mentioned already. Chrysanthemum is another one that I took to Relic 8 for the Crate Jagger raid, and one of those characters that gets a significant boost and bit of survivability with a Relic 9 upgrade, obviously because he's a tank. One of those ones that I would like to do. So that's probably going to be one that I'll do soon due to the boost cron. Obviously Relic 9 Chrysanthemum would be quite nice to have. Royal Guard, I don't know why I've still got him at Relic 5. I probably should take him up to a Relic 7 minimum, obviously because Relic 5 tank in the LV team is just not going to cut it really. As you guys have seen, my Royal Guard has died a lot recently because obviously he's not as survivable at Relic 5 as he would be at the high relics. And then my luxury R9 list, I do have some other Galactic Legend tanks in here. Obviously JTR goes with Rey a lot, Crew goes with Kylo, and obviously we now have old Ben going with Leia. And then Bosk is there mainly for Houndstooth. That would be quite a fun R9 to have. Obviously it would really help with the Fennec counter to LV if I want to start running that again, having a higher relic Bosk. Obviously not really necessary. The Houndstooth that I have does okay at Relic 5 at the moment for what I need it for. And then like Bosk, Finn would be quite a fun one to do. Obviously he does have a ship as well. I can't remember is he a pilot of Rey's Falcon? I can't remember. But that would be a very fun character, I feel, to have a Relic 9, obviously, to run in a Finn Zori team. You guys have seen Zori teams run circles around people, and if there's an annoying Finn tanking in the way, it can be super frustrating. But again, a very luxury Relic 9. And last but not least, I just wanted to talk about a few characters that I've definitely underinvested in, that I would like to take to at least Relic 5 from Relic 3 that they're currently sitting at. And as you can see, I do have Marion Trench, Spy, Stormtrooper, and Plo Koon. All characters I would like to take to Relic 5. Obviously, Merrin is a very good Night Sister for the Night Sister squad, and having a Relic 5 would be a nice boost for that. But I do have very low Relic Night Sisters as well, so I probably would need to upgrade the whole team rather than just Merrin. Trench is another one of the characters that I would like to invest more in. Obviously, with Watt potentially going away from C, that frees him up a bit more, maybe to go with Trench, and I can run like a proper Trench team. That could be quite fun going into the future. So another one I'm keeping an eye on, would like to Relic him up. Obviously, I've spent 3 Zetas on him. I would like to have him higher than Relic 3. Spy is a kind of lesser relic that I would like to upgrade. Obviously, I'm not using Geonosians at all, basically. It really only is for like cleanups and stuff. Most of the time, I'm using Geobreed Alpha as like a pre-taunting tank in some other team, and then obviously Geos are kind of ruined after that. But that could be quite fun with like Trench or something, maybe. I don't know. We shall see. Then Stormtrooper, like I mentioned with Scout Trooper and Moff Gideon, obviously that really depends on the new Moff and how good they are. Well, Stormtrooper seems to do alright at Relic 3 at the moment, but obviously higher Relic with a tank, the more tanky they'll be, and the Stormtrooper gets a massive amount of defense. It does huge amounts of damage at the moment with the Datacron, but it's obviously going to be not available for that long. Then last but not least is Plo Koon. Obviously, like I mentioned, it's going to be going with Starkiller for the foreseeable in 5v5, so we're probably going to need to take him up to Relic 5 to obviously give him survivability, but he actually survives because he's going to be taunting under that team because of Starkiller's hit. But yeah, that is well, I'm hoping it's not too long. That's probably about a 15-minute section of me just talking about what I want to be doing going into the new year. Obviously, I would like to try and upgrade the higher end of my roster, obviously to be a bit more competitive in Grand Arena, and obviously help improve my wheel challenges results and stuff like that, because as you can see, my roster for my size, my relics for my roster size obviously aren't probably as good as they probably should be. I do have some relic gates and stuff like scattered about, but nothing too drastic where I look into other people's thing, I go, oh my god, they've got so many relic 9s, relic gates. I kind of want that effect when someone looks at my account, but I was going to have to put a lot of hard graft and work into getting those relics up to the standard that I would like to be at. So that is going to be it. Obviously, thank you very much for watching if you've watched the whole way through. I know some of you guys like seeing these updates, but that is going to be it for now. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you in the next one.